afternoon, and Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. We have a medium house today. I'm Maisie here with London, Aryana, Megan, and Dan.
And with this top of the hour update, we'll be bringing you the latest in news and events, sports, weather, pop culture, science, and first up, let's go to the bulletin board for this week.
At the SUNY Fredonia TV station, Connor Clary has a late-night talk show that has a bi-weekly guest that he interviews, plays video games, and talks about gaming news. If you're interested, Players Digest is on WNYF TV every other Tuesday at 9 p.m. on the WNYF television YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/WNYF television. That's it for information through the grapevines. Next up, we'll bring it to London for our campus news updates.
Thank you, Maisie, and good afternoon, folks. I hope your morning is going well, and let me keep it a buck with you all. I was feeling pretty lazy and tired this morning. That is until I remembered that break is coming very quickly. So if you are all feeling a slump like me, just remember that one day is a day closer to break. Moving into our campus news, author of the memoir, The Language of Men, Anthony D'Aries, will be visiting Fredonia Thursday, November 7th, 2024, from 7 to 8 p.m. Rockefeller's Marian Art Gallery for reading and craft talk. His fiction and nonfiction has appeared in McSweeney's Boston Magazine, Solstice, Shelf Awareness, and the Literary Review Memoir magazines, Silk Road Review, the Laurel Review, Flash Fiction Magazine, and elsewhere. D'Aries has had experience serving on the board of PEN New England, as well as a member of the Freedom to Write Committee, leading writing workshops in prisons, shelters, and hospitals and residential care facilities, and co-sharing his inaugural PEN Writing and Trauma Conference. He is currently a professor at the Western Connecticut State University. And again, he will be visiting us here at Fredonia on Thursday, November 7th at 2024 from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rockefeller Marian Art Gallery. Fredonia will also be hosting another guest speaker, Shannon Higby, a mental health specialist. Miss Higby is the CEO of Recovery Options Made Easy, or ROAM for short. She will be sharing insight on the ways to deal with loneliness, her experience starting as a private school teacher, teaching secondary English, and serving as the school's director of development, leading her to now be a nonprofit committee for over 19 years. Her talk, Loneliness, a Public Health Crisis, will be at 6 p.m. in the Kelly Family Auditorium in the Science Center on Monday, November 11th. Be sure not to miss this. That'll about wrap it up for news from around the way. We'll be shooting it over now to Maisie with all of your local news.
Thanks, London. As the past few months, Chautauqua County residents have been donating items as relief efforts from Hurricane Helene in Milton. The Jamestown Post-Journal states, quote, "On Sunday, Jeff Halowinko, a local pilot, flew a plane loaded with supplies from the Chautauqua County Airport in Jamestown to the Avery County Airport in Spruce Pine, 50 miles from Asheville. The flight is part of the ongoing efforts initiated by Executive Paul M. Wendell Jr. and county airport officials," end quote. At first, more than 150 planes a day were delivering supplies with the airport, utilizing 12,000 gallons of aviation fuel in 6 days to facilitate rescue flights. However, the Post-Journal declares that as time goes on, the donations are slowing down. Shannon Fisher, a county airport manager, says, quote, "The people affected by hurricanes are facing unimaginable challenges, and our support can provide them with the essential supplies and resources they desperately need. Every donation, no matter how small, can make a significant impact in helping our neighbors rebuild and recover," end quote. For more information on how to contribute, visit chautauquagovernment.com/aid or call Fisher at 716-661-8930. Chautauqua County's Cold Blue shelters will be opening starting November 1st until April 30th, 2025. Those seeking emergency shelter during regular business hours from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday can visit the Department of Mental Hygiene and Social Services offices at 15 West Lucas Avenue, Dunkirk, New York, or at 110th East 4th Street, Jamestown, New York, where the Code Blue shelter is located. Several local agencies are available to assist with Code Blue placements in Chautauqua County, including Brooks Memorial Hospital, UPMC Chautauqua, Chautauqua County Department of Mental Hygiene, Chautauqua County DSS Child and Adult Protective Services, Chautauqua Opportunities Mobile Crisis Team, UCAN Mission, Mental Health Association, and Recovery Options Made Easy, or ROAM. Code Blue provides warmth, food, snacks, hot drinks, cots, and security. For more information, visit the web at chautauquacountygovernment.com, where you will find the phone numbers and locations of each warming center available. Andrew Molitor, the Republican candidate for the state assembly, currently is commanding lead. Molitor, with 22 of 90 district reporting, has a 59.03% to a 36.73% lead over Michael Bobstein. Peter Johnson, the Republican and Conservative Party candidate for Chautauqua County Family Court Judge, has jumped to a lead over Sally Jeruzanisky, 60.72% to 20.75%. The Jamestown Post-Journal states, quote, early returns also show county voters expressing opposition to Proposition 1, 53.09% opposed to 43.06% in favor. Though the proposition appears on its way to pass statewide with 64.2%, support statewide with about half of the state's election districts reporting. Incumbent U.S. Representative Nick Langworthy is also off to an early lead over challenger Tom Carl of Fredonia, 63.65% to 31.38%, across from the 23rd Congressional District with 40 of 579 districts reporting. Langworthy leads 59% to 35.5%. The Associated Press has called the election between the U.S. Senator Christian Gillibrand and Michael Sepricone in favor of Gillibrand. Sepricone leads Gillibrand in Chautauqua County 54.25% to 41.72%. End quote. That's all for your local news update. Let's take it to Dan with sports.
Thanks, Maisie. Fredonia women's soccer will continue to the SUNYAC tournament after defeating Buff State. Senior Katie Sellers and sophomore Gabby Irwin both scored in the game, leading the game to be 2-0. They are leading the team to go against New Paltz today at 1. The Sabres won last night, defeating the Ottawa Senators 5-0. Goals were scored by Tage Thompson, and J.J. Perkins and Bo Byron both netted a pair. The Buffalo Bills have signed 2 former defensive tackles, Quinton Jefferson and Jordan Phillips. The 2 have signed a contract for 1 year for the 53-man roster. That's it for your sports update. Let's send it to Aryana for the 2-day weather.
Now, here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Hey, Fredonia residents. Happy National Stress Awareness Day. Happy National Nachos Day. Happy National Saxophone Day. In other words, chill out. Today is going to be rainy and gloomy, but a perfect day for some tea and a good book. We'll have a high of 67 and a low of 56. Tomorrow we'll drop 10 degrees, going with a high of 56 and a low of 49. See you guys in a bit, but stay tuned for now.
Welcome to the Pop Culture and Local Music segment. Last Call Entertainment is having their first November show tomorrow night on the 7th. K-Hole, Cat House, and Lucky 38 will be playing at BJ's in Fredonia at 51 West Main Street. It's all the band's debuts at BJ's, and you know the drill. Doors at 9, music at 10. A new movie from the Farrelly brothers, who wrote Dumb and Dumber 2, will soon hit Paramount Plus and digital. The movie is entitled Dear Santa, and it covers the story of a young kid, Liam, played by Robert Timothy Smith, who still believes in Santa and wants to prove that he's real. However, in a misspelling of his letter to the big guy, he addresses it to Satan, played by Jack Black, and he actually shows. Director Bobby Farrelly says, quote, Jack is just that guy with his arching eyebrows and his faces and all that. There's a little bit of mischievous to him at all times, but he's eminently likable, and that's just Jack, end quote. Keegan-Michael Key and Post Malone also star in the film, which drops just in time for the holidays on November 25th. Today is November 6th, and if you're a Stranger Things fan, you'll know that this is the day that character Will Byers goes missing. Oh no. As a treat from the creators of the show, the Duffer Brothers released a trailer and confirmed some questions that fans have. Firstly, the final season will indeed air in 2025. Second, that this final season will pick up from a time jump. Season 4 had ended in March 1986, with Eleven and the gang looking at the Upside Down, bringing horrors into the real world. And Season 5 will begin in fall of 1987, more than a year later. Lastly, all 8 titles of the episodes have been revealed, being, quote, The Crawl, The Turnbow Trap, Sorcerer, Shock Jock, Escape from Camazotes, The Bridge, and finally, The Right Side Up, end quote. That's all I have in music and pop culture news this week. Let's bring it to Dan for national and international news.
Thanks, Megan. We are 6 days past one of the biggest days of the year, Halloween. Many of us got to celebrate with spooky festivities. Unfortunately, most kids weren't able to go out trick-or-treating. Amy Schmidt, mother of Jacob, had to take him to the hospital. Jacob, unfortunately, missed out on said festivities. However, Ring doorbell footage showed a group of children showing up to her door. The children were Jacob's friends, and they had gone around collecting candy solely for Jacob. Amy told ABC7 Detroit that it was, quote, overwhelming, all the love we've got. It's just amazing what these parents have raised these kids to be, end quote. Neglected tropical disease, leprosy, has plagued 120 countries. It affects 200,000 people annually, and left untreated, it causes permanent damage to the skin, nerves, eyes, and limbs, potentially leaving victims disabled. This is no longer a worry for the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. After 2 decades of no reported local cases, the World Health Organization has declared Jordan the first to eliminate the disease. WHO Regional Director for Eastern Mediterranean, Dr. Hannah Balkley said, quote, as the first country to achieve this target globally, Jordan stands as an inspiration to other countries, encouraging them to enhance their efforts to and overcome barriers to achieve this remarkable feat, end quote. For this next story, I need you all to be seated. Morogoro, Tanzania has come to a remarkable research discovery, ready to deploy some tiny soldiers. Dutch Research Foundation APOPO, along with founder Bart Wheatgens, and with the consultation of Professor Ron Verhagen, has successfully trained rats to sniff out trafficking. The 8-inch African giant pouch rats will have tiny backpacks to sniff out illegally trafficked wildlife items in ports around the coast. The furry rodents have been used previously to sniff out explosives and tuberculosis, but they have gotten another job on their hands now. The study shows that these rats have learned how to put on said backpacks and turn on a switch to alert workers of the illegal shipments. The furry friends, once finding the shipments, will get rewarded with a food mixture of avocado, banana, and crushed chow pellets. That does it for today's national and international news. Aryana, let's hear some more weather.
Hey, my weather nation. Let's keep it going with our morning affirmations. I am beautiful, powerful, dangerous, strong. I actually think I just quoted the movie Frozen. But anyways, let's get into the lower temperatures. Today will be running with a high of 67 and tomorrow with a high of 56 with partly sunny skies. The rest of the week seems to be perfect fall weather, so get out there. Friday will have extra wind with a high of 54 and a low of 45. Saturday will be sunny skies with high of 51 and a low of 38. Sunday looks to be rainy with a high of 58 and a low of 44. This is why I love New York. It's like a dice roll. You never know what weather you're going to get. All right, my lads and lassies, I'll see you on Friday for high noon, but don't miss me too much. But for now, let's go for our long-awaited political segment.
The presidential race drew to a close early this morning, and Republicans woke up feeling very happy. Former President Donald Trump secured a second term in the White House, defeating incumbent Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump won 4 out of the 7 swing states, with the other 3 remaining to be called. They are, however, leaning towards Trump, unless one of the remaining swing states turns toward Harris. The electoral map looks to be an exact repeat of 2016, with the exception of Nevada going for Trump. Trump ran up his margins in nearly every demographic for 2020, but secured around 3 million votes less than he did in the previous election. Vice President Harris, on the other hand, underperformed President Biden in 2020 by about 15 million votes, with many safe blue states handing her much smaller margins than they did Biden. On his first day in office, Trump has promised to launch the largest mass deportation effort in the nation's history, to massively increase the use of economic tariffs, and to use the Department of Justice to punish his political enemies. Trump has also said he will surround himself with loyalists who will push him through his agenda, no questions asked. He claims that he will immediately end the Russian war with Ukraine, and he said in the past that he wants to give Israel more latitude in its war against Hamas in Gaza. He said that groups holding American hostages will, quote, pay a very big price, end quote. In addition to the White House, Republicans have also taken control of the Senate, the Republican challengers defeating Democratic incumbents in Ohio and Montana, and picking up an open seat in West Virginia. Control of the House of Representatives will not be decided by razor-thin margins and has not been determined yet. In New York, incumbent Democratic Senator Christian Gillibrand secured re-election by a wide margin. For the Fredonia region, Republican Nick Langworthy won re-election to the United States House of Representatives, defeating Democrat Tom Carl. Republican State Senator George Borrello ran unopposed and was re-elected. Republicans also held on to the region's open state assembly seat, with Republican Andrew Molitor defeating Democrat Mike Bobstein. Both Borrello and Bobstein are graduates of SUNY Fredonia. In New York State, voters passed Proposition 1, which, among other things, enshrined abortion rights in the state's constitution. It also bars discrimination based on gender, identity, nation, origin, age, disability, sexual orientation, pregnancy, and, quote, reproductive health care and autonomy, end quote. Previously, the state constitution only explicitly protected individuals from discrimination based on race, creed, or religion. Before this ballot initiative, abortion was legal in New York through the 24th week of pregnancy. That'll wrap up today's edition of News at Noon. Campus News is written by Maisie, Strader, and London Nickolai, and read by London Nickolai. Local news for this broadcast is written and read by Maisie Strader. Weather is prepared by Maisie Strader and read by Aryana Ramalhete. Sports is prepared by Parker Gannett and read by Dan Granados. Music and pop culture is prepared by Julia Clement and read by Megan Kidby. National and international news is read and written by Dan Granados. Political news is written by Dan Quigliana and spoken by Maisie Strader. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by the lovely Dan Granados.
And thank you to the team, and thank you to all of you for tuning in to News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. And from all of us over at Fredonia Radio Systems, tune in next time, have a wonderful day, and let's keep it vibrant on this rainy day.